Welcome to the chess, and welcome to the greatest chess game of all time. Undisputed, indefinable, undeclared, and interdimensional. This chess game is between the son of a plumber from Dagestan, Russia. You guessed it. Hasbulla. And arguably the greatest pickleball player ever, who retired early in the 1800s to play chess for the rest of his life. He never gave up on chess. You guessed it, Paul Morphy. Now, these two players, they met up in a field in Russia. There was a little cottage next to them, and school children went to the school about 38,000 miles south of where they were playing. So the school children would throw balls. Sometimes it would hit the chessboard. But it didn't faze Hasbulla at all. Paul Morphy was a little bit flustered by the whole event. But regardless, we got some of the best chess we'll never see again. So we start off with Hasbulla has white, and Paul Morphy is using the black pieces to play chess. And so Hasbulla starts off with e12. Now this is an interesting move because you don't see a lot of chess players play this anymore, but back then it was all the rage. Morphy responds with 12c. We've got Hasbulla coming in the center with a dingleberry opening. This was really common. It's named after Paul Dingleberry. And the best refutable evidence for the dingleberry opening is just g12. Now we have takes and setting up for another take. So this is a gambit. You cannot move the white piece here, otherwise look what happens. You kill the horse. And no one wants to kill horses. So Hasbulla tried to kill Paul Morphy's horse, not in the chess game, but when Paul Morphy rode up on his horse to play the game, Hasbulla got the horse in a headlock. And headlocks don't take down horses. Hasbulla didn't know that. So he tried, but ultimately failed, and Paul Morphy got a good chuckle out of it. So we have knight to c4. And then these next moves are pretty standard, so I won't go through this. I think you guys will all realize how standard these moves are. So we have rook to 4-5, rook to c9, queen, and they're doing double moves right now because in chess, after the third or fourth move, you can do two moves each. This is pretty standard. Everyone knows this. But after a few double moves, they stop doing double moves because it's not fair. So we have castles, castle crashers, and then he's gonna just artificially castle right there. he artificially castles right there, and this is a great move. This is a great move because you'd think you could take with the bishop, but you can't because the king is staring down the bishop, and bishops are notoriously known for being cowards, and so if you make direct eye contact with them, they will never attack. And so the king smartly, from artificially castling, is just staring down the bishop. So we have, so the bishop is just so afraid it takes out his own horse, which is pretty standard if you get a good stare down with the bishop. So you've got this position, and now we've seen this position actually quite a lot in chess. And so you have your typical standard knight to there, and then the king wants to go to safety, so he goes there. You open up this line for later usage. We got here takes, and then we have a fork because this knight can take out this pawn, or it can go back to the square that it was at. So you've got a really nice fork here. So the king moves here, knight takes the pawn. You really want to get rid of this side pawn on the side squares so that it's not side fumbling. And then the king takes it. So now the king's just wide open for some beefcake. So you're going to move the rook in here, 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 here. And then after it gets here, you want to figure out how to get over here. So that's the path of the rook here. So so we have knight to 12c, queen here, and now the king's in check. So you want to move the king out of check. You don't want to take the queen with the bishop because that's rude, and you don't want to be rude. So you move the king there. You get your knight here, and so that you can move this guy up with a discovered check. They hadn't even discovered check yet until this game. No one knew what check was until they played this game, which is one of the reasons why it's the greatest chess game of all time. So he moves here, and then they finally discover check. This is the first time anyone's ever been in check, and so they're like, this game is great. And so the king obviously has to move there. Nope, can't. Yeah, he goes there, which is a really bad move because the king can just take the rook. But even though this is the best move in this position, according to 12 or 13 different engines, maybe 28 engines or 45 engines, maybe like 89 engines, you can take the king back. So wild game. Hasbulla ended up winning. He beat Paul Morphy in a flourish of a finish. But then, just to dagger in the knives before the game ends, Paul Morphy took the rook. Just to kind of be like, you know what, that wasn't nice to take my king, so I'm going to take your rook. Even though the game's over, you're gonna get it from me. And this, I mean, Hasbulla was happy that he beat Paul Morphy, the greatest pickleball player of all time, but he was so bugged that Paul would take his rook after the game was over. He jumped up and just started bottlenecking the Paul Morphy's horse. And by bottlenecking, I mean just giving him a good noogie or two. And so Paul Morphy got on the horse and he rode away. Didn't even realize Hasbulla was still bottlenecking that horse. So when he got back to Queensland, he had to buy a plane ticket for Hasbulla to get back to Russia. So that just adds to the mystery and the lore of this game. I mean, what a great showdown between two master powers. So yeah, thanks for watching. I mean, there's really no other greatest chess game of all time that will ever be filmed by me. So just enjoy this one for the full benefits that it offers. So thanks for watching. Remember always to comment down below if you've climbed a tree or not, or if you haven't climbed a tree, if you've developed any photos lately. Thanks, and see you tomorrow.